Welcome to the channel. I'm a doctor. I've seen things that don't always fit into textbooks, moments that no protocol can prepare you for. Some of these stories are my own. Others were shared with me by colleagues, nurses, paramedics, people who, like me, carry the weight of these moments long after the shift ends. And as I always mention it, I've seen things that textbooks don't prepare you for. This one I still can't explain. It happened on a rainy Thursday night. Call the ER was unusually calm, almost too quiet, till room 214 lit up on the patient monitor. The only problem? Room 214 was supposed to be empty. It was around 11:40 p.m. The kind of hour where the hospital starts to hum in a strange rhythm. Half asleep, half waiting for something to go wrong. I had just finished checking on Mr. Granger in room 209A, diabetic. With some stubborn blood sugar levels, I decided to grab a quick coffee at the nurse's station. The hallway was unusually silent. No call buttons ringing, no beeps from infusion pumps, just the low buzzing of fluorescent lights overhead. I reached the station, poured myself a cup, and glanced up at the central telemetry monitor. More out of habit than curiosity. Room 202, heart rate 74, room 208, oxygen 96%. Everything normal, then right in front of me, room 214 lit up, 87 beats per minute, oxygen saturation 98%, looked like any other patient, stable, perfectly fine, but I froze. Maybe I missed the new patient because room 214 had been empty all day. Actually, no, not empty. It had been closed. The man who'd been there, Mr. Hughes, died the night before in surgery. Massive internal bleeding. He coded twice in the operation room. He didn't make it. Housekeeping cleaned the room by noon. Maintenance. Shut off the telemetry feed. We even taped a sign on the door, room out of service. I set my coffee down slowly and called out, "Hey Carla, who's in 214? She looked up from her chart, casually at first. 214. She repeated, blinking. That room's off the list. No one's assigned there. I turned the monitor toward her. Then why are we getting a feed from it? Her eyebrows knit together. In confusion, she leaned in and then stepped back just a little. I don't know, she said. Her voice had dropped half an octave. And as she stared at the screen, I watched the color drain from her face. I grabbed my stethoscope and badge and started walking toward room 214. The hallway felt longer than usual, silent, dimly lit, like the hospital itself was holding its breath. As I passed the med storage closet, the lights above me flickered, just once. Not enough to trigger a full outage, but enough to make me stop. Remember that moment clearly, because I felt it. The air turned colder. Not just cool. Cold. Like someone had opened a freezer door right next to me. It didn't make sense. That part of the wing didn't have vents or windows. I shook it off and kept walking. When I reached room 214, the door was closed. Lights off. No sound coming from inside. Exactly how it should have been. I pushed the door open slowly, almost expecting someone to be there. But everything looked untouched. The bed was neatly made. Monitor powered off. No scent of alcohol swabs. No signs of a recent patient. Even the air felt stale, still, and yet. The telemetry feed had shown active vitals just minutes ago. I stepped in cautiously as soon as I crossed the threshold. The wall monitor turned on by itself, no warning, no boot up sound. Just a sudden, sharp glow in the dark 0.87 beats per minute. Oxygen saturation, 98%. Stable, alive. But there was no name on the display. Just a simple, chilling label. Patient 214. I stared at it, my skin crawling. Then I heard something. Behind me, a beep, soft, slow, steady. I turned. It was coming from an old portable heart monitor cart in the corner. One we hadn't used in weeks. It was unplugged, completely disconnected from power. And yet it was beeping. I backed out. Slowly, not running, not panicking. Just getting out. I reached for my radio and called maintenance immediately. Cut power to room 214. All of it. 10 minutes later, they confirmed the circuit was shut down. The telemetry feed went black instantly. No vitals, no signals. Just an empty screen, like nothing had ever been there. I figured that was the end of it. Probably just a glitch. Some telemetry wire left connected. A sensor that didn't get logged out properly. Hospitals run on machines, and machines mess up all the time. I was tired, I admit it. Too many hours, too little sleep. So I let it go. Went back to my rounds and tried to forget about room 214. Around 3 a.m., the hospital had slipped into that eerie stillness. When even the lights feel quieter and the shadows stretch, it's just a bit longer than usual. I was seated at the nurse's station again, flipping through patient charts, when the landline rang. Old corded beige hospital phone. The kind that never rings unless something's wrong. Carla picked it up. She didn't speak right away. Her eyes slowly widened and she held the receiver just a little farther from her face. Then she turned to me, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's for you," I raised an eyebrow. "At 3 a.m.? Who is it?" She hesitated. Then she said it. "They said it's the patient in room 214. I froze. For a second, I just stared at her. Then, slowly, I reached out and took the phone. "This is the doctor in charge. Hello?" Just static, crackling, low and distant, like wind through an old radio. Then, beneath the noise, voice faint, fragile, and terrified. "Doc, I'm cold click." The line went dead. I stood there in silence, still holding the receiver. Carla's hand was covering her mouth. We pulled up the call log from the console. There it was. Internal call received. Extension 214. But that phone, the one in room 214, it had been disconnected since the morning. Unplugged, the line physically severed. By maintenance, there was no possible way that call should have happened. And yet it did. The next morning, I stayed a bit longer to help the incoming shift with rounds. The ER was already filling up again. Patients with chest pain, dehydration, one minor car crash. Life was moving forward like nothing had happened, but I couldn't stop glancing toward the hallway. Toward room 214. I don't know what I was expecting, maybe that the monitor would light up again, or that I'd see someone standing in the doorway instead. It was something much smaller. As I passed by the room, I saw a yellow sticky note taped from the inside of the observation window. Just one word, written in shaky, uneven handwriting. "Thanks." I stopped walking. For a few seconds, I just stood there staring at it. It hadn't been there during the night. I was sure of that. I had been in and out of that hallway too many times. Someone had put it there after everything that happened. Maybe a dark sense of humor, nurse. I opened the door slowly. Daylight streamed in through the blinds. Everything looked ordinary. Too ordinary. The bed was made, the floor mopped. The monitor powered down. But then I saw it. The ECG leads, not tangled, not folded, laid out perfectly across the bed, as if someone had just removed them from their chest. Right shoulder, lower ribs, still connected to the main wire, placed with a kind of precision, like the person had done it 100 times before. Only there was no one assigned to that bed. No name, chart, no trace. Later, we asked security to check the overnight surveillance footage from that wing. They pulled up the logs. Room 210, clear. Room 212, normal activity then. Room 214, no record, just static. From 12:03 a.m. until sunrise, nothing but gray. Flickering static, as if the room had never existed at all during those hours. Or worse, as if someone, something, had made sure it couldn't be seen. People say hospitals are full of life, death. They're places of beginnings and endings, of healing and sometimes of loss. But I've come to believe that sometimes just something stays in between. A presence, a memory, or maybe just a need to be seen one last time. Was it a glitch? Some random electrical fault that caused the monitor to light up a phone line crossed by accident? Could it all be explained away by logic? Maybe. But there's something about that night, something that doesn't sit right, something I still feel every time I pass that hallway. I don't avoid. Room 214? Not really, but I'll admit it, I walk just a little faster when I pass by. And when I see a monitor flash on unexpectedly, I hold my breath. Just for a second, and I really hope it's not room 214 again. Well, this has been Toda's story. Thanks for listening. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think happened? That night? Have you ever experienced something you just couldn't explain, in a hospital, at home, or somewhere in between? Share your story in the comments. Sometimes the scariest things are the ones we never figure out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you want more stories like this one. Real cases, strange events, and moments that blur the line between science and something else. See you in the next one, unless room 214 lights up again.